All right, everyone. Hello, welcome, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. My name is Jason Levine. Great to be back here on Adobe Live today with my esteemed guest for part 2 of designing your own DIY bartending kit, Erin Grace Johnson. Looking very
Hello.
How are you doing?
You know, stressed, but that's okay because everything over here is doing great. We're doing it.
I understand you're having a few little computer issues at the moment, which I think everyone in our chat can identify with, so
Yeah,
fear
just a
not.
few. But we're gonna make it through, and it's gonna be more awesome than ever.
I totally agree. I couldn't agree more. As always, of course, we're coming to you live on Adobe Live, Behance, YouTube, and Twitter Periscope. So thank you so much for tuning in. So you've got Mallory returning today, Steve Festus Kosoboom, what's happening? Amit and Voodoo Val and VF Videos and Nikisha and NKY and Desiree. Very nice to see you all. So Artie Chick has it going. Lindsay Palmer, Voodoo Val, it happens. I know, right? We've done this so many times on screen. We're all too familiar with all of this. So what I thought, Erin, maybe we would start off with today is kind of revamping a little bit of what you worked on from yesterday, and kind of let everyone see, if they haven't already tuned in, kind of, you know, what we're going to take to the next level. Before I do that, though, let me go ahead and share. I'm going to share my screen because I just want to pull up the schedule real quickly. Of course, we've got lots of programming for you continuing here on Adobe Live throughout the day. So right now you've got us for the next 2 hours. We have the XD Creative Challenge with former creative resident and my friend Andrea Epi at 2:30 Pacific time. We've got Draw Along with Kyle Webster. And then once again at 3 p.m. today, Rework It with Jesus and Claudia. So definitely want to check that out. So yesterday we were kind of working entirely in Illustrator, and you really you were blowing people's mind by kind of showing this whole process of starting with the package, actually outlining and designing and recreating the cardboard package itself, the box itself, the physical media, and then starting to kind of treat it with beautiful fonts, beautiful type, and getting really crafty and creative with all of that. So I see Illustrator. So are we good to pull up your screen?
We're good on my other computer. Yeah.
Go for it. All right.
Thank God for multiple computers, huh?
That's right. Right.
All right. So this is where we ended yesterday. For anyone who wasn't here, or anyone who was, I finally, in like the last couple minutes, really felt that this front of the package was like it finally, after a lot of time. So I took some time last night though and developed even further, because I wanted to come in today with a brand from this now. So this is what I worked on last night, which is kind of a fully developed box now. Like there's nothing else that's needed here. I even have like the barcode and SKU, and I think you'll be happy to see that your logo has made it back.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought that there would be a good option to have two different two different variations here. So just a little really fun. Nice.
And I love all the additional elements that you've added here for the wraparound. I mean, I'm envisioning what this would look like in 3D, and I'm getting very excited because I know today we're going to focus on you actually taking this now in Photoshop and kind of wrapping it around the box and kind of placing it into a scene, right, into an image with some an actual shaker and some of the stuff that you were photographing. So this looks awesome.
Thank you. And then I've actually rolled it out into a couple more, but that was kind of the summery colors that we were
Yes,
working
that's
on.
right. Yes.
And then some autumnal colors.
That was great.
Spring is like my least favorite season, so I haven't figured that one out yet. The opposite of people, it's fine. I actually did have my friend mentioned that that coral would be a good color for summer too. So I think that might be something that you might see here.
Okay.
But so before we hop into putting this onto a box, I did just want to roll this into a different. So I have the coaster that I wanted to show people who maybe weren't here yesterday how to do the box again, as we just kind of develop this quick box for the coaster.
Oh yeah, definitely. Absolutely.
So I have my cute little illustration is ready today. No need to sit while I pull things off the internet and shankily sketch. So again, for anyone who wasn't here yesterday, I just kind of throw together an artboard that's not even a real size, and just get together on this packaging. So I know by measuring that the coasters are 4.5 by 2 inches for the height of the box.
Okay.
So, oh shoot, again with the needing to be an American.
Uh-oh, yes, I was gonna say, what are you, you're not in your inch, you're in points. What's that?
Swapped computers.
You'll have to go back to yesterday's stream to catch that whole story, but yes.
All right, so we have front of the box. There it is.
Okay.
And then, oops, nope. So this is just a pretty quick, I don't want to sit here for too long just in case, people saw it yesterday, and it's not that exciting to get a box together. It's just kind of a necessity that you have to do.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it is a square box, so it'll be similar to the way that the other box is put together, a little easier, that everything is really, there's just 2 measurements versus having like 3 of them. My other computer snaps. I apparently don't have my illustrators on both of my computers set up in the same way, because this one isn't nice to me and isn't snapping together quite as nicely.
I see that. Yeah.
That's all right. This is the one that I sit on the TV or on the couch and watch the TV with. So.
Oh, right. Yes.
So that's nice. But since we have this created, I'm just going to go over here and grab some elements.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
No need to remake.
And that makes sense. You're going to have similar elements, I imagine, right? For box folds and everything else. Yeah, you can totally reuse. So that makes a lot of sense.
So I guess I also didn't need 2 of those because copy and paste is the thing. Right. Is there anyone new in the chat that would like me to talk more deeply into this? I'm really going quite quickly, and I don't want to lose anyone if this is something that is.
I mean, I'm not seeing. I think everyone's just following along at your pace. So no, I say keep going, and if there's a question, I'll shout it out to you. But I think people are just digging what you're doing here, and again, everyone can tune in. The replays, of course, are available. You can catch those. Highly recommended. Especially for, I mean, it was really, I got to say, even for me, just to see you start out this way, and I didn't know where you were going to go. It was awesome. I mean, it really translated into something that also felt somewhat achievable,
Anybody can make a box, right?
Yeah. I mean, it seemed kind of impossible at first, but I thought, oh no, actually, you made me believe that even I could do this. So
as long as we all leave this believing in ourselves, we've done a good job.
Yes.
We've done what we need to. Okay. So that's those are like the harder elements of the box, or like the flaps. And flip those. I have to say, getting myself prepared for this, I've been listening to some Christmas music.
Yeah.
And I understand if people think that it's too early, and that's okay, because it's not for me.
No, I saw the first commercial the day after Halloween, and I thought, okay, it's time. I mean, I'm not ready to whip out the playlist just yet, but yeah, it feels like it's coming. Of course, I say it feels like it's coming. I'm in Arizona, so it's still hot as hell here, but it definitely feels like the season. The season is upon us. Also, it's just a good diversion to hear, the Grinch or some Charlie Brown Christmas music, or
do you mean
whatever
your version of the Grinch?
My version of the Grinch, available on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, Google Play, and wherever music is streamed or sold. That one that you're talking about?
That one, yes.
Actually, I was talking about the original, but thanks for reminding me to plug that just in time for Christmas.
So I just grabbed over the elements that we've already created on the other package to this one where I'm just going to translate them.
Okay.
And I do want to make sure that this doesn't have, oh, excuse me.
So, by the way, while you're doing this, so Rick just asked, how much space are you leaving between the flaps for them to fold nicely?
I mean, it is, I am not looking at anything in very like serious.
Right.
What I've left right now is about, I mean, if this is, we can actually measure it.
Yeah.
Let's see. So that is about
Let's say a tenth of an inch.
A tenth of an inch,
Okay.
which will just allow for enough space here that even if I saw some comments yesterday about taking into account the width of the actual paper that you're using.
Sure, right. Of course, the stock that you're printing on has an effect, obviously.
Right. It has less of an effect than you would think it does, but it definitely is something that you would like for that is something you really need to think about when you're doing edges and these like interior flaps. Like that is where you need to think about that, but it's not so much about like the actual folding of it. So usually I would go about the thickness of your paper or whatever product you're actually using, and that's kind of what you should keep as your minimum for that spacing.
Okay.
I'm just kind of thinking it right now because I'm using just paper. Sorry, I was making sure that none of my boxes were filled in because I do not want them to be filled in.
Yeah.
Okay.
And a boss was asking where you'll add the details of the product, and you're kind of seeing a boss some of them here. And if we go back, maybe when you're done with this, you can finish. Yeah, you can see here how you added them. And yesterday we were using some lorem ipsum, or I'm sorry, no, it was.
Oh, it's still it's Slipsum. It is the SL or
Slipsum.
Samuel L. Ipsum, and it's still that. I just I made up some words here. You can see that it's bougie bar, luxury,
luxury, gifted, yes, complicated, simple.
Styling class yours is personally my favorite. I'm not a copywriter, everyone.
Oh, that's funny. I
have friends who are copywriters, and I rely heavily on them.
I'll tell you though, I got to give you props for complicated cocktails made simple.
Thank you. That one is the only decent one, I think.
I like that. I think that works actually really, really nicely.
Thank you. Gosh.
Voodoo's saying, so what you're saying is it's beginning to look a lot like. Yes, it is.
I do think so.
Yeah.
We've had a couple snowfalls here in Vermont, so yes.
Yes.
So I'm thinking the way that we will translate so that we can have, because I don't think on the front of this one, just for lack of space, because it's such a short package.
Right.
I think that we will maybe get this shape on the side of it. Oh, you know what we forgot to do? My favorite thing. We forgot to set up guides.
Oh, yes. We were guide crazy yesterday.
Yes. Guides are very important, so we're just going to move all my little elements over here for a second. And I think I still have, Yeah.
So, okay, so you got two comments here which kind of answer each other, but you spoke to this and you can take it further. But so Mallory was saying for accuracy of the box measurements, it doesn't really matter until you're going to print, right? For this application, it's less important. Is that correct?
Yes. I'm definitely faking it till I make it on this one.
Right. And Carol then says accuracy should matter. I thought it's a good idea to get the box die line from your printer. And yes,
absolutely. That is absolutely true. But I'm working on a fake project, if you will.
Right.
Like this is a dream project, and
right. Really you're the printer here, so you can figure it out.
Printer. Yeah. So you'll see how I'm the printer very shortly.
Yeah.
Jason's had a preview.
Yes, that's right. It's pretty amazing. Wait till you see this.
I shocked myself earlier when I did it, to be honest. Anyone else.
with your Photoshop skills with the Z. Yes, I agree.
Yes,
it was pretty
skills. #skills. Okay, guys. Hello.
By the way, Steve is saying Star Wars Christmas special. Dude, I remember that.
There's a Star Wars Christmas special.
Yeah, we're just gonna leave that one there. EGJ, so that you
Am
don't
I
make
showing my
another.
age, or when was that? What?
Nah, just gonna leave that there. Original cast, first movie. You do the math. You know, all right.
So I'm showing my young age, apparently. How's that?
It's really good though. You could find it on YouTube. It's super fun. Also, wasn't there? There was a. It wasn't Christmas. It was just Star Wars on the Muppets. I recently rewatched that actually.
You know what is one of the best Christmas movies though is Muppet Christmas Carol. So
Oh yeah.
speaking
So
of,
classic.
so to anyone who's watching this part with the my little box, I'm just creating my guides around the edges I'm making my margins basically, just so that I always maintain a proper baseline for all of the designs that I'm doing.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Which is, I'm working my mouse, which we had issues with yesterday anyway, but that's hooked up to my other computer. So I'm also doing this with a trackpad just to make my life a little bit more complicated today.
Giving yourself, extra things to jump through. Nice.
It's like
Nicely
it's like
done.
a finger workout, you know. Just gotta make it happen. But it's okay. If I do another one of these, which I hope people like me enough that I will, I'll probably have to get a new computer. That's all right.
You're doing it pretty quickly. I don't know. It's looking good. Oh, Nightmare Before Christmas. Val, I have to agree with you on that. That is actually half my house currently post Halloween still looks very inspired by Tim Burton. So
question on that though. Is it Christmas or Halloween?
It's Christmas.
Okay. All
notice
right.
there was no real pause of thought there. It's a Christmas movie.
I mean, I'll watch it for both. I'm fine with that.
I mean, I watch it all the time just because, you know, I have a Jack Skellington head somewhere in the other room. Just the head, you know.
I mean, of course,
you know, as you do, right? Don't Die Hard. Yeah, all right, I'll give you that one too, Steve.
I mean, I
Scrooged,
personally
so many
haven't
good
seen
ones.
Die Hard, but I know it's a Christmas movie.
It is. Scrooged is a classic. I just watched Scrooge not so long ago, just because I was doing a little Bill Murray quarantine marathon, and that was in the playlist. Such a good one. You know what's really interesting about that though? If you watch specifically Scrooged, take note of a couple of the characters in there. So that was 88, I think. Wants to keep me. I'm not gonna Google it.
I think that's probably correct.
Yeah, I think it's around 88. So who's gonna say that? Look at people's teeth, actors' teeth in that movie. There's a lot of really tight close-ups, and it's just interesting when you look at actors' teeth. You know, today I like something that I remember. So you remember the Mummy movies? We're totally going off topic here, but this is what these streams are about.
Yeah. I mean, I'm designing. You just keep talking. I'm over here trying to figure things out.
Do your work, will you? All right, I got a story to tell. So, do you remember the Mummy? Brendan Fraser Mummy?
Oh, heck yeah.
Right.
That movie gave me so many nightmares with the bugs in the skin.
Right. Oh, yeah, the scarabs. So, classic movie, but been around forever. So, one thing that always made me laugh watching that movie was, there are these scenes. I don't know if you remember, but some people watching may remember. Brendan Fraser, when the movie starts, he's like fighting the Magi, and then he's like in a prison, right? And he gets rescued from the prison, and then he goes on to explore the city of the dead, whatever. He's in prison, and this is supposed to be, 19. I don't even remember what. Is it the 20s? That's not the 20s. I don't remember what year it's supposed to be, but it's obviously old. It's supposed to be
it's the 20s.
20s? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember like the cars and stuff. But he just has like the whitest teeth. And I remember there's this scene where, and I remember Rachel Weisz has to like pay to get him out because he's like fighting for his freedom or something. He's like, "Do it, lady!" And they keep showing these close-ups, and his teeth are just so white.
Is it because he had to whiten them for Bedazzled, which I feel like was around the same time?
He probably did, but that's what I'm saying. It's so funny because it's like my eye goes right to that. I'm going, you just lost me with the period thing here. I mean, come on now. You should have pretty gritty teeth if it's 1920, and he's in prison, and he's been there for a while in the desert, in Egypt or wherever he was. I can't remember now.
I think it's Egypt because it's the mummy.
You're right. Well, yes, it was. No, it was Egypt. I don't remember if the prison was Egypt or
Oh.
not, but yeah, that's why I would say. Yeah, thank you for that, by the way. Yes,
You're welcome.
been there, by the way. So yeah. Anyway, what were we saying? Oh yeah, the Bill Murray movie, Teeth. Watch it. Take note of some of the actors' teeth in these close-ups. Not Robert Mitchum; he was already old, but some of the other characters, and you're like, wow, strange.
I mean, Scrooge is whoever said that. Like, props to you. Definitely one of the best.
Oh
Absolutely.
yeah, absolutely, 100%.
Definitely on my list. I know everyone who was here yesterday heard me talk about my friend Rose, who helped me design the drinks for this. She also yesterday informed me that AMC has Christmas movies running from November 16th until Christmas. Woo! So if you're me, you're excited.
That's right.
I'm adding a little bit here just because I want this flap to match what's underneath it so that it just wraps properly. Just looks a little funny. But that means we can pull this up. So I've been translating this a little bit, and I think that people can probably see the difference just a touch. So here we have all this space vertically, so things can be stacked. But on this coaster, it's really squat. It's just this little.
It's tiny, right?
Little sandwich, and so we're having to really play with the actual like how we can translate this around and still have it feel cohesive. Right. So here I'm trying to have the coasters in it just to see if this is how it if this works, because we have the bottle in the other, but I'm still not sure if this is quite right.
So that's meant to be like 3 coasters stacked right there. That's what you're simulating with that. Yeah. And if that's going to translate on the box or not, or just look like
an accident.
An E.
Well, yeah, I didn't see that. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm also thinking that this needs to go onto 1 line as well, even though I do love on the 2 line.
Funny, because I was just before you said that I was going to say I really do love the way you did the 2 lines of wooden coaster. I don't know anything. That don't
It might. You never know. It might come back.
Yeah.
Of course, now we don't have the logo on the front of it, which is a whole thing.
Now that's actually a good question though. So for a box like that, obviously you've got something vertical. There's the side is the front. Does that apply to like a small short box like this? Do you still consider the side the front, or is it the top more? So
it just in simple, like if it's in a shelf somewhere, they're going to be stacked, so you're going to see the front.
Got it. Okay.
So you want the most you want most of the information there, which is how this becomes a little bit complicated, because like I said, there's so much space on the other one that this is really showing how how challenging it is sometimes to have a brand with different products, and how the translation needs to occur. So I'm kind of liking how this is looking in terms of how it matches up to its friend over here. Although you're right, you know what? We do need the 2 line. You're correct.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, it's nice.
I mean, I knew it all along. I was just waiting for you.
You're just waiting for me to go through it. Yeah. Don't worry, everyone. Jason is the new designer here.
Let's not tell tall tales. Mallory is saying, I wish I could see this in my head as a finished box. My brain sucks. Now, Mallory, I'm right there with you. I mean, well, I've seen it, but I know it's it's really cool.
Well,
it's
where did I just put? We're looking at this now because I had to move things around like a crazy person. I did move them. Okay, so this is the box, so that you can kind of gain it as as a 3-dimensional thing.
Right.
And we'll go back over here and design into it. But
so just on that though, because even in the way that you just had that photograph, so I get being on the shelf, and you're going to have them stacked. So you need what it is, in that rectangular horizontal space.
Yes.
But is the top? I mean, I'm just the top is sort of, isn't that also really technically the front of that box?
The top are important if say your product is like
as you're
warehouse.
opening it, right?
Well, I mean, yes, understanding and having that experience is also a big part about package design, is thinking about how people will interact with it, because it's one of, I mean, other than like actual interaction design for print, this is one of the only designs that you have that people physically interact with it, like not on a website, and you don't have, you have a little bit of control because you can be like, this is how you, 1 step to 2 step, but then people, you don't know if someone's going to open this box properly or if they're going to ravage it and just like rip it open.
Actually,
yes.
Like, you're right. No, you're absolutely right. No, that's a really good point. I mean, and that's why I'm asking, because I was thinking about like, I was trying to think of like Apple stuff, like even the iPhone, right? iPhone's actually a pretty good example. So it's not as small as this coaster box, but it's small format. It's laid on a shelf horizontally, so it says iPhone along, but the top, because of the the front is the top of the box, not the side, right?
Right.
I mean, they're not stacking them like this, they're stacking them like that. You see it says iPhone, and then you see the picture of the iPhone on that top cover. Granted, that's more rectangular, this is a bit more square. I get it, but yeah, that's where my brain was going though. Like,
yeah, no, I mean, it's definitely things that you have to, like, that is what you have to, like, those are the elements that you really need to think about when you're designing, because you have to think about who you're designing for and how they will be interacting with it. Which actually, as I did that, I thought of something, because yeah, this would be the front, but I have it opening to the back. So if you're opening it, you're experiencing it not how I currently have it, which is this direction. So I actually would probably do this.
You have to flip it, right? Yeah, exactly. Okay.
Which I think is different about the shaker one, because it's less, because of how large it is, it's less of an interaction.
Absolutely. Totally. Right. No, so it makes sense that you're drawn to that vertical space on the side like that. Exactly.
Right. So whoever was having issues seeing this, I'm sorry, I just made it worse by putting text upside down. I apologize. So this one on the smaller, or on the thinner package, the back of it didn't really, I didn't need it. And so I didn't want to crowd with just adding things. I did want to explain what the bougie brand is, but that's pretty much like the only content that I really wanted to have on there, and then calling out that it's collectible because of the season. But other than that, like with packaging, you have, especially packaging that's not food or consumable or body, whatever, you have the option to not really have much on the packaging, and that's what you don't really, like, you don't need to, the negative space is important. You don't need to fill it with everything, unless that's what you're going for and your brand is just very busy. That's okay, but I probably won't purchase your product. I judge a book on by its cover. Absolutely.
I'm thinking of, I remember back in, I mean, this is quite a while ago, but just talking about packaging. That's why I was so excited to do this with you. Right around the time of it was already after a couple of iPods. So iPod had been around for a while. And I don't know if you remember that Microsoft had like the Zune. Do you remember the Zune?
So do you want to know a fun story? My sister will hate me for this. She went to college or something and hand-me-downed her Zune, and it broke. And Best Buy had a great policy. I don't know if it's still the same. I got an iPod out of it because it broke, and I got a free iPod. And so and then all of my iPods like kind of successfully broke after that. And so I don't think I ever bought an iPod.
Oh my God, that's awesome. Well,
sorry. So yes, the Zune.
Yeah. Well, so that's great. Actually, that makes a lot of sense regarding the Zune. And that's not to slap Microsoft or anything, but the Zune was not a spectacular device. But what was the least spectacular about it, and anyone who had one will remember, I had one too. It was like gifted to me. You know, you can recall, I mean, obviously always that one area where they just shine in Apple is packaging, and the iPod packaging, especially in the early days, you know, it was just the box, and it was so minimal, right? And the instructions were in this little sleeve, and it was just so clean, and there was no tape.
Wonderful experience.
Well, no, it was just so clean, like getting it out. It was just, there was no peanuts, there was no plastic, you weren't cutting things. And I remember the Zune, This is V1 of the Zune. Maybe they changed it afterwards. So first of all, it came in like one of those, not a blister pack, but it was one of the, like that plastic that I swear is like molded
clamshell packaging.
Yeah, that's molded with kryptonite or something. I mean, you know, you can't pull it apart. You have to like get, you know, kitchen scissors, but glued to the front of the package was one of those like accordion style, like what would it be called? Like an info thing, like telling you all about what it does.
Yep.
Right. So, and it was accordioned onto the front, like held over by a little piece of sort of adhesive. So you'd get this like pull out where you could read all about the Zune on this little skinny paper that was glued to the front of this impenetrable plastic. And then when you got the plastic cut enough where you could kind of slide it out, it was encased in more plastic. I just remember like it took me 15 minutes just to get it out. And then, you know, and then it wasn't it like brown? It was brown. I think that was the color they went with. I think it was brown.
You know, anybody I can't remember that to save my life. I had like a memory of it being blue, but I think all of my memories are kind of blue at this point.
Yeah, you're glorifying. Who remembers? Steve has the spelling right. Correct. It was Zune. Mm-hmm. And please, someone in the chat tell me. Val's going, that plastic, right? Now, if you've experienced that, you know. But it was brown. I think the device was brown. So again, you get it out like plastic and paper and more plastic. And I remember literally like cutting, I like sliced part of my finger on that plastic because again, I think it's, you know, made by the devil here. And it's brown. It's like this bizarre shade. You're going, what is this? And then it was fine. It was an MP3 player like anything else, but you know, but it was just getting to it was such a process.
They just didn't actually want you to have it.
They really didn't want you to have it. And apparently that was the case because it didn't last very long.
No,
short-lived. You know, that was, I think the Rio MP3 player outlasted the Zune, which was one of the first MP3 players long before iPod, and it stuck around. So Reverb Mike is saying there was a green Zune too. Okay, but was there a brown one, or was there a blue one? Is there a blue one for my friends here? I think
I'm not obsessed with blue. It's just a lifestyle.
Dwayne Jacobus, I think the packaging of a product can also influence the user's experience of the product itself. Oh, 100%. 100%.
I used to, in college, I had a project, which you can see on my, I think you can see it on my Behance. It's for words that I'm looking for. It's for light bulbs, and we had to redesign packaging that was already existing. And I did light bulbs because I was sick of buying a pack of 4 light bulbs and having it come in that clamshell, and then having to keep the clamshell because I don't know where to put 3 light bulbs while I'm waiting to burn out my light bulbs. So I made packaging that was, first off, allowed single, because they didn't sell single at the time for some reason. I think they have actually started to do single now. But and then I completely removed the clamshell and made it a fully recyclable paper packaging, and like that was a great, I really enjoyed that one. It was for like, I wish I could remember what the brand is. It's whatever you buy at Home Depot.
Right.
But
their brand, yeah.
Yes.
So Val's confirming, yes, the original was brown with green around the edges for no reason. And Stephen Love chimed in, yes, there were several colors: brown, green, pink, red, and black.
I just made up an entire Zune in my head.
you glorified the experience because you got the free iPod. So you're like, yeah, it's totally blue so. And awesome. Yes. Umacorn. Oh my gosh, the colors of the Zune, right? I know. And that's the funny thing too, when you think like who in product design and marketing was like, okay, we want to do something like, again, they're going against the iPod, which was already revolutionary and edgy and thin. And it was only, I think it only came in black in those days. I don't even think there was like multiple colors.
No, it was
or
like
white. Sorry,
it was white. It had the four.
Yes,
buttons.
yes. So it was only white. So you could imagine again, kind of the super clean, just unobscured view. So someone's going, okay, what can we do to combat that? All right, I've got it. Brown, green, pink. Let's throw in a primary again. Red and black. No, it's like, okay, perfect. But the brown,
we did
green,
it. Great job, everyone. Raises
brown,
for
green,
all.
and pink. Not that there's anything wrong with brown, green, or pink, but it when you think about, like, you can imagine people, right? Well, yeah, you could imagine, and again, electronics that were for, like, at the time, I wouldn't say the hipster crowd, but yeah, it was you still had people then, like, listening to CD Walkmans and things, right? So this was truly a next gen kind of product, and that was the design color they went with. It's just sort of funny. Okay. Yeah, Val saying, and it's not even like cucumber green; it's like a questionable green.
Is it like pea soup? Kind of the color that I'm currently working with, actually, Val.
Everybody's laughing about that now, like a soylent green. Oh my god. Oof. Oh, Val, you've got the link in there. Okay, excellent. I will check them all out. All right, this was a good trip down memory lane while you were designing.
Yes, absolutely. Mm-hmm. So one thing that I'm seeing here while I'm designing this is I'm again trying to use, like, the same elements, but what it's doing currently is having, like, a line here and a line here and a line at a slightly, like, these three are all at different heights.
Right.
So I'm probably going to go in here and put the what is bougie at the same line as this one.
Okay.
Just to maintain a little bit of some continuity around the package.
And that's I'm asking, but and that's like you're doing it for stylistic reasons, but that's also, again, to sort of make the package flow, and just you're changing the feeling when you make things kind of visually consistent like that, right?
And if things are not visually consistent, I said yesterday that if you don't design things with enough intention, it looks like an accident. So something like that would just look like an accident, which is not what I want this to look like. Oh, hey, look, I put that at exactly the right height.
Look at you.
Well, I can go home now. Wait, I am home.
Wait, you are home. Wait, don't turn off the stream. Right.
Bye. Okay, so if we turn off those, you can see how that kind of pulled that consistency together so that it wasn't looking so wishy-washy up and down. And I'm kind of keeping now this line going through. The front is a little bit different, and I'm still trying to see if I want Bougie Bar on the front, because technically we should have the logo on the front, very technically. But it makes me want to have, like, another version of the logo that's more of like an icon for things like this, where it wouldn't necessarily work to have, because if we put the logo here, it just kind of feels like
an afterthought.
Yeah, I mean, that's actually not so bad. I'm not as upset about that as I thought I was going to be, especially if we make it into that color. Because then perhaps, let's see if this works. Just a little fun thing here. Maybe this comes this way and this line meets it. Excuse me. Oh, hello. I'm so sorry, everyone. There we go. It's not perfect because they're not their size, but
it's different thickness. Yeah.
But that maybe would feel.
Now that's actually a good question. So something like that, where you had the line, I guess that's not considered an underscore, but you have the line in the logo. Sort of attached on the fold to a line that's, again, will be obstructed by the fold, wrapped. Yeah. And it's a pixel off or something. Is that a huge, like, is that something that's going to actually be pretty noticeable once? I mean, well, that might be maybe right there, but like, would you spend a lot of time trying to add the extra pixel underneath, or delete it from the other side, or what, or just leave it? I mean, if it's folded, is your eye is it going to see that pixel height difference, or?
Yeah, it probably won't. But if you're a perfectionist like me, like, changing that took about 2 seconds, and it does make it smaller. But, like, there we go. Like, it's perfect.
Yeah.
Like, That would be fine. And
Okay. Mm-hmm.
I don't know how I think I'm gonna sit that there for just a little bit to see how it feels. Again, we'll probably, do a bunch of, well, actually, I don't think we need a bunch of versions, guys. We kind of did this one.
Yeah.
This feels pretty nice to me, to be honest. Although this part, again, it is not really to any like alignment. Same with this, same as here. It was just kind of what felt appropriate for the space, kind of took up enough space that it was visually exciting, but not so much that it's like taking up space for taking up space sake.
Right. No, it looks very I mean, it looks super cool and stylized. And again, I go back for those who didn't see yesterday. Erin just modeled the shaker with just shapes. You didn't even you started with the pen tool and then you just went up going to the shape tool, right?
Yeah, I was like, let's just go back to this.
Just a rough kind of silhouette of the bottle, and it really works. Like, God, it really looks so good.
I actually went in a little bit because now that we're talking about that, this is what we had yesterday. So this was what we made with just
right. Yes, you did tweak the cap area a little. I see.
I tweaked it slightly to match the cap that we are currently using.
Right.
But I mean, could have been. I don't think anyone would have noticed that difference except for me, who's a perfectionist. So,
yeah.
And yeah, I kind of enjoy this. This feels weird, but it feels weird in kind of a exciting way.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna hold out on that. Like this seems good. The last thing that I do want to put together really quickly, and I'm just gonna do it right in this same file. I do want to get together like a little label for a bottle, because that is the last thing that I want to do in Photoshop is just kind of put that together, and so that everyone can see what that one looks like.
Oh, okay.
So this would be like the bottle.
Mm.
And so we will create a little label for this, maybe on the backside too, depending on what we need.
Nice.
So
for all of our photography inclined viewers, myself included. So what did you shoot that with? I forget what you shoot with.
Oh no! Oops, surprise!
Stole your thunder. Don't watch. Cover your eyes, everybody. We're on a delay, by the way, so I'm telling people in the future, if you're just tuning, cover your eyes just for a second. All right. No, that won't work because
no, it's fine. Everyone saw it. Maybe they'll be excited for future. I use a Canon 500D.
Okay, nice.
Which is equivalent to I got it in Asia, so it was like a slightly different name for it, but it's like equivalent to like the less expensive of the DSLRs. Wrong mouse. Got too many mice down here. So I just wanted to quickly create what would be that label just so that we can see it. And the size of it already measured. Again, here's my glorious little bottle.
Mm-hmm.
The size of it is 2.5 by 3 inches. And this is like a label, so we don't need to build a box or anything, which is a little easier for us. It's just a label. But we can perhaps look at the shape of the bottle and think about if we want to mimic any of the shape. Which makes
like the contour of the bottle, you mean? Yeah.
Which makes it a little bit more visually appealing than just like, oh, I just slapped a square on it, good to go. I mean, which you can do, totally fine, but it just puts a little bit more thought into it, and people will recognize that, which is, consumers are really good at that. They see things that are beautiful and identify that way.
Totally. By the way, Carol Pearl was just asking, whoa, did you do that with Aero? No, all in Photoshop. So you're gonna that's I just can't wait. There's so much anticipation. No Aero, no dimension.
Just me and Photoshop and
the
craziness that I do.
Bending and skewing, free transforming. I'm excited to see you do it too. And Mallory says, wow, you take your own images as well. That's cool.
I do. Yes. It was a great time yesterday, my friend. That was a real cocktail. It was delicious.
Okay.
It's a good time. So I'm going to add an angle here. I'm not quite sure how I want. Actually, you know what? We're going to do another shape just to throw something in here. Nope. Let's try adding like to round it at the top.
Okay.
I do want to make sure, because I'm pretty sure that, I'm gonna measure this again, that 3 inches was kind of, no, I can get up to about 3.5 inches. So I swap that. I can add a little bit of height here, so I'm not losing so much of my real estate by adding kind of a visual something to it.
Right. Okay, cool.
So if this is about, let's make that 2 inches, and then, or not 2 inches. I can do math. I told you guys I'm not good at math. This is not my thing. So that should be about 3.5 there. And then if we combine these, that's kind of an interesting shape that we can now have on the bottle. And we'll definitely want it to be match that green that we have going over here, just so that the whole line will feel cohesive. So the, I believe it's this one, yes. So one that we had in that shot is called Smoke Me Up. And I'm just gonna put the recipe over here so that I remember what it is.
Right.
And so this is my friend who is a bartender up here in Vermont. She's great. If you guys ever come visit once the pandemic is over, please and thank you. Don't bring it here. You're totally welcome, but not right now.
Not now. Right. Yeah.
She's a bartender at a cidery here, but obviously she is multifaceted, so it is a good time. All right, so I'm gonna pull this over here and try to maintain with this. And so with this, I wanted to be able to roll out with like 4 different cocktails. So what I want this to say is like cocktail mixer,
Right.
because that's what this is, or like mix in, we'll call it.
Mix it, right. And then you have subtext that's for each of the different cocktail mixers that you're offering. Okay, yeah.
So, and I guess, you know what we should probably do, although it's less necessary on labels, especially if labels are smaller, like if they're die cut, it's a little bit less necessary, but we still want to maintain some sort of a semblance of a good guide. So I'm just coming back here to steal my guide that is somewhere. There it is. All right. And I think we'll need to adjust the size of things a little bit here, because I think that font is just a little bit too big for the size of this label. I am going to go back in though and maintain that this font stays at 8 for legibility's sake, which I know we talked about yesterday, that 6 is the smallest that you can go to.
Right. Yep.
It's a personal preference that I don't want to go smaller than that. This is, intended for people who will be drinking, and let's just make it a little easier on them, right? No need to complicate
if you're being
it
honest, right? Yeah, I mean,
But I mean, the idea is also that these could make mocktails. So,
right.
There's no need to, if you can't drink alcohol, you can still have a delicious time.
That's right.
Which is great. All right. So, you know what? I'm going to actually decide here really quick that this is a little bit too large of a margin for this size, which is, I'm less the queen of indecisiveness today than I was yesterday, but I'm trying, Yeah. All right.
Well, and that's actually it's a great point to make, right? So at the beginning of the design, yes, you're firing off all different kinds of ideas, right? Now you kind of know what works. So now you can make this decision. Too much.
Yeah.
Right.
Just and a little bit faster. Things have gotten a little, I really enjoyed feedback yesterday and kind of clarifying how this was going to be designed. So that was like pretty nice.
Yeah.
I do want to maintain at least a little bit of this. So maybe we'll go in here and say, what did we say? It's called Smoke Me Up.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is kind of a secondary headline, I am going to go in here and change this to the font that we're using as kind of our display, the Olga, but I'm going to use a different weight to try to give it a little bit more of the hierarchy, with the cocktail mix-in being number 1, well, logo, then cocktail mix-in, but the logo's not on there yet.
Right.
And then also with this font, I'm going to zoom in there. It is like a little bit too, the kerning is just a little bit too close for me. So I am going to adjust that myself, because I love good space for reading. I think I updated on this one too. So this way we can have, that will list it, and then down here we can say, take out my flip some and add in
Right.
something actual about this drink.
Right. By the way, I'm grabbing alga right now. I meant to do that yesterday, but
ooh,
I just love it. I have to have it.
It is a really beautiful font.
And there's 12 variations of it too. That's really great.
There's so much that you can do with it. It's so lovely.
Nice.
I love a good font family. It really makes designing a lot easier. I mean, someone else has done all of the work for you by creating this font family that already sits well together. So just, why struggle when someone's already done the work?
Yep. Oh, totally. Mallory is saying, I might add a line to mimic the top curve. I'm not sure.
Where do you mean? I'm curious on that.
Yeah.
Like up at the top, or?
We are listening. Also, Jessica Tam says she wishes she could see the fall foliage in Vermont. Heard it's gorgeous. Is it still there?
Nope. I wish you could have seen it a couple weeks ago. It was beautiful, but it is gone. We've officially had snow. It wasn't much. We had some on the ground for like a little bit, but actually today it was in the 50s. So I don't know what the temperature is doing. It's a little crazy, but unfortunately our fall foliage has deserted, which is so unfortunate. My father was also trying to get up here to see it. He lives in Asia most of the year, except for this year because he got stranded in the U.S. Due to COVID, and he this would have been his first year since 2009 that he could have seen the foliage, but he missed it by a couple weeks, or by like maybe a week. Was there any answer on the line?
Yes, actually, yeah. She wrote back and said about a 1/4 inch below the arch.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so I hope I'm gonna get this correct. Let's go in here. Keep this, and then go in one more time. We'll cut this guy off.
Oh, now she just wrote maybe not a 1/4 inch, maybe an 1/8, something to add in all that white space. It might be better without, but I'd like to see it. Okay.
Sure, absolutely. I also would like to remind that we are going to be putting the logo at the top up here too. But that's really quick. But is that what you were thinking? If we made it this color. That's kind of fun. I'm not upset about
kind of fun. Yeah, that's kind of neat.
That's pretty fun. Is that what you meant? I'm sorry, was that Mallory?
Yeah, Mallory. I'm sure she'll get right back. Mind the delay, right?
So this one fits I actually don't want that one because I've adjusted that one. Let's go in here and oh no.
So now, Erin, I'm gonna put you on the spot here.
Yeah. Oh God. Okay.
So now you have elements in this design like the logo. Granted, you only just chose it yesterday, so it's not a big deal. But for something like this, this is an element that you could theoretically save to something like a CC library, so you can just very quickly drag it in.
Oh yes. So if I was going back and forth between like programs, in one program, it's not so hard to just like flip back and forth between.
And especially if you have a huge artboard and you got stuff everywhere, yeah, you can organize it.
Absolutely, I'm a big fan, especially if I'm going into Photoshop and I need it for, like, if I was starting to make ads for this brand that I've just created, I would absolutely have it ready in my library so that I could easily hop in and just use it. It also helps to like share to other people because like that's
right, exactly. Okay, yeah, cool. I was just asking. I saw you had the libraries tab docked over there, so I thought, okay. Just wondering if it is a place that you go. By the way, Mallory confirmed, yes, that's what she was talking about.
Perfect. Well, Mallory, also, I have, this feels really kind of exciting here as well as something that maybe, if it was a line. as something interesting. I just need this one to be. Come on, there we go. Oh, why? Get out of here. Okay. Why? It's fighting me today. Why are we fighting? Okay.
No fighting.
It's just
No
I constantly. Also, I found out where my cats have been because they were not here yesterday, and I mentioned it at the very end.
Right.
They are. Oh my goodness, Gal! Look at that. That feels nice.
That actually looks really great.
Thank you, Mallory. That feels pretty cool, and kind of takes a step, pulls the logo away, because we talked about how, like, if you have the logo, it works a little bit better if everything is the same justification.
Right.
And this one, I didn't want the same justification because I didn't want to use the flat bougie bar
right.
logo variation. But this kind of gives it a little bit of just a touch at the top. But this feels pretty great. I do want to have a backside of this, which we won't see in my mock-up that I'm going to do, but it is real. So I'm just going to design it really quick. Additionally, this copy here is real copy that I did not write. Once again, going to remind everyone, I'm not a copywriter.
Right.
This is Rose. She's great. She can make cocktails and write your copy, apparently. So really kills it.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of Armand. Nice. Teamwork from Carol and Voodoo. Looks awesome from Ariana. Ali, not bad. Yes.
That's great. Thank you so much. Not a lot, but just enough.
Just okay enough, you know.
All right. And then on the back of this, actually, I made this go away, but we probably want to keep this here. We don't need the logo on the back so much, so I'm going to remove this simply for adding in this recipe of what to do.
Right.
So, no, I should probably copy into there. Okay. Additionally, this might not fit on here, and so if that was the case, I'd probably create.
Okay.
Which, yeah, we're actually, if that was the case, we would add like a recipe card, and just have the cocktail and its own element, which is fine. We will get to that. I'll just. Oh, we didn't put over here. Let's throw.
By the way, I was just reading Rose's copy there about, something loungy or cozy AF. That's kind of funny.
Yeah, we're big fans of lounging AF.
Yeah.
All right.
Nice touch with the barcodes, by the way.
Thank you so much, guys. It's really important to remember all of the elements that you're designing for, because you don't want to forget and then have them, not make space for them and get to the point where they are necessary.
Right, and that's the bottom of the back of the back of the box.
So this one, we're just going to make sure that these are aligned. I also have a beautiful address for this brand, America Drive. I didn't even spell drive right.
I see that. Dravi, yes.
Dravi. And again, this isn't necessary. Like, we're not going to put this on the back, but just as kind of these are like the elements that you might need and how you would translate them to the back. But now that we're at this point, we're at about an hour in, right? So I think that it's time to hop over to Photoshop. Now that we have these, although I am going to save these really quick as
yes, as I reminded you yesterday. By the way, Rose is in the chat right now.
Hi, Rose. What did she say?
She says, Erin, I've made it. The last label you made looks like an upside down coup, and I'm living for it.
Oh my God, it does. Oh, so she's so right. It looks like a coupe glass, which is my favorite form of glass for an alcoholic beverage. So she's so right. Thank you to Mallory for really getting us in there like that. I wouldn't have gotten there without you guys. Okay. So the first step that I need to do to for these little mock-ups I'm going to do is I need to export as PNGs these two. Actually, I'm going to. We don't need the back right now, so I'm not going to export the back of that one. All right. So we're going to export them and just going to throw them right here since that's just where they're going to go. Okay.
Now, I have a question for you. I don't know if
Yeah.
if you know the answer to this. So now, regarding the barcode, does it have to always be black on white? I think in packet maybe I've once seen something where it's black, well, monochromatic, but not black. It could be black bars, black text on that light green or whatever. But is there a method to the madness there, or is that obviously it's standard to have it looking the way you have it looking? But does it still work as a barcode if it's not in that configuration? Or
it does. I would stay away from having any other background other than white, especially if it is something that will actually physically need to be scanned.
Yeah.
Because scanner, like it just complicates the actual scanning process, and some people can do it, but it's not a best practice.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's, I mean, you can always kind of stretch best practices. You have to have a certain, it needs to be a 1/2 inch high, those bars.
Right.
Also, so if you want to do something like I, in my last company, created, we used the character head and had the barcode in the character head, but then it, actually, do I have one? Yeah. So if you see this, I had created the barcode, but we had the usable barcode down here at the bottom, and then kind of like the stylized barcode at the top. And so there are ways that you can play with it. Like there are some Cabot cheese here in Vermont. They have the barcode is the shape of Vermont.
Right.
But at the minimum of its width, it is like 1/2 inch.
Right.
But I would stick with barcodes. I would stick to, don't get fancy with them.
Don't get fancy.
It's not worth it. If for some reason you print 100 boxes and the barcode doesn't work, you are SOL. So that, I mean, it can be kind of fun to test into it. And oh, my face is up here. Hello. All right. So we have, people saw it, so I'm just gonna hop back in here. This is kind of what we're gonna test to. I have another image that we're gonna work on. So this is me. You can see I have my layers open over here for people who love layers, because this is where I use layers. Right. I don't really use them so much in Illustrator. But so this is completely. I took a picture of a box, and I placed my design on it. So just kind of an old school way to do it, I guess. And I will show you guys how I did it with a different image.
Yeah, because what's really interesting too in looking at it, I mean, the first thing I noticed was that you just there's like shadow from the shaker on that front left side of the box. I'm like, okay, that's like straight up something you would do in Dimension. So where am I seeing, where do you have lights in here? I'm looking for how or doing gradients or something. Like, how are you creating that?
It's not as exciting as it seems, I promise. It's pretty easy. So we're going to work on this box. I'm going to crop it just a touch because it's got a lot of extra space that we don't need.
Okay.
So we're coming in here. So the first thing that I have to do, and this is different. The first thing that I would do with this element, because I actually physically cut out this shaker and put it on top, which is easier because then you don't have to cut out your the label that you're working on.
Right.
But so the first thing that I would do is take out anything that would be in front of it and copy it and create it on top.
Sure.
But what I'm going to come in here and I'm going to mask out. And this is where I would probably spend more time doing this. I'm just kind of doing a little dirty right now. Sorry, everyone. Oh, and I also want to make sure that I have 1 pixel of feathering. That's important.
Okay. By the way, as you're doing this is a side question, but Saeed Alatas has been asking, is there a significant difference between a designer who graduated from design school and a self-taught designer? What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, the only difference is that one person paid for their education, the other person has learned it on their own, which I mean, I don't want to, I enjoyed school. I love, the process of going, like, I like school, I guess, but it doesn't mean that you're any less of a designer. I can probably, as someone who's graduated, articulate a little bit better about the things that I'm doing.
Certain things, yeah.
But that doesn't mean that someone else couldn't also articulate through that. It's the experience is really all that you need. My roommate recently, who is not so much an artist but has kind of an artist background a little bit, was working on her resume, and she asked me to take a look at it, and I told her, you need to remove your education from the first thing. That's not what people care about in the real world. Like, what really matters is what you've done with that education or with your experience. Like, it's not. I wouldn't look at anyone less if they didn't go to art school or get an education from a expensive school like Pratt or Savannah College of Art and Design, which I'm still paying off.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, and I think even more so today than ever. I mean, I think if you went back, 2 decades ago, just because society was different, that held some additional weight. Now, I think everybody's kind of figured it out that it doesn't matter. It's great,
especially
like you said, and there's a lot of it has to do with just your own education and being able to articulate certain things maybe in greater detail or with specific references that are, again, maybe to some esoteric or just not knowledge nuggets that you're not gonna learn on the job necessarily. But does that get you employed faster? Not necessarily, right? I mean, does it make you better to work with? Absolutely not.
As someone who's currently a unemployed designer, it doesn't do anything. If anyone's watching this and is looking for a fantastic designer, please hit me up.
That's right, in the Vermont area, right?
Or anywhere, look at us, we're being digital. But yeah, especially with like YouTube and things like this, there's not really anything holding anyone back from teaching themselves and learning.
Totally. Yeah.
And I would absolutely suggest that you take every opportunity, read books, listen to podcasts, like do as much as you can. I think people who don't have a formal education are a little bit, you just have like one step behind just because you didn't get that education. But it shouldn't actually affect how you work as a designer.
Sure.
Design is design. So I hope that helps explain that. I don't think so.
I think that's really accurate. I mean, look, and I get asked that a lot. Actually, because you mentioned YouTube about making videos, and if you're wanting to be aspiring filmmaker or songwriter, musician, whatever. Does it matter if you went to film school or music school or whatever? And, and there's two fields where maybe to some degree, I'd almost say even again, 20 years ago, I don't know that it mattered even then, except that it held a little weight because you did kind of, especially if I, when I was still 22, it was recent. So it was like, all right, I've worked at these few places, but I just graduated from here with this degree, so I know what I'm talking about.
It works as experience itself, your education.
Exactly.
So like that helps. But if you're already out there in the world doing design, I mean, it's not necessary to go back necessarily. Yeah,
and I like how you mentioned, read books. One thing that I talk about, because of course I do a lot of training stuff for us. And I always talk about in my streams how if you're looking for like the 5-minute how-to, I don't do that.
Right.
Part of the reason for that is that I there's so much context. So, I
can't stop.
I can't stop, but I like sharing that. Like again, my experience was I was really fortunate to have some amazing instructors, professors, teachers who gave me all that context so that you really understand. Because once you really understand everything, then you can break things down in ways that, like you said, if you just don't have some of that knowledge and experience, you may not really stumble upon it. And that's it. And it's really just, it's more about knowledge sharing and technique sharing. And then you're getting that education from other places. And certainly you can find that all over YouTube.
Oh, absolutely. And the only thing that I could really ever foresee it just being like, I don't think you would ever want to, you might be able to, but like teaching it, if you yourself have become a designer because like you felt your way into it, which is a lot of things that I do. I'm like, I can't tell you why this feels right. It just feels right.
Right.
but like sometimes I'm able to be like, oh, it's because A, B, and C. And that is something that it makes it easier to teach it. But I'm also not going to tell someone not to try to teach it. But I did actually, this is me going to be freaking out about a font really quick. Actually, before I go into my font. So I have this box, right? And I've just hit up all the sides so that I have this little placeholder. And then I'm going to put in my, and then I'll talk about the fonts, but I'm just going to throw in my, where are you? Yep, not in this one, of course. Not actually, you know where it is? It's in here. Let's throw it over. So anyway, I'm going to put this over in this box image and save because I haven't saved yet.
Right. Yes. Please do that. By the way, I missed you. You changed the color of the side to reflect the shadowed side of the box right there.
Oh, I mean, that's just because that's who I am as a person. But
did you sneakily do that? No, because I'm looking at him going, wait a minute, where did I just miss that? You changed that's great. Nicely done.
I mean, I was just going in and so that I was looking at different sides so that I can see it. I just changed the color slightly, but because I'm a little bit crazy, I always make it look like the box.
I like it.
Add the shadow.
Great. I like I said, I missed seeing you change with the color picker there. I'm like, wait a second. How did I miss that? I only see 3 layers. Yeah, you are. Yes. Fair enough. I know.
So I have now put this in, and I'm going to copy it. So I always kind of keep that one. And then I want to have my computer have a small panic attack, of course. Okay. I want to increase the size of it before I rasterize it because I don't want it to lose too much of the its pixels, which happen when you rasterize it and you take it from being this, like PNG image.
Yep.
So I've come in here. All that I want right now, I'm going to, and this is why you want to maintain that first one so that you can always copy. Because all that I want right now is this front panel. So I'm going to go in there and delete the rest. So now I just have that panel, and I am going to pull down so that I make sure I delete everything that's on the edges. Okay, but so as I do this, I was reading an article recently about papyrus because I despise it, and read articles often about fonts that I just hate. But the person was talking about how the SNL had a skit with Ryan Gosling, and he was a designer and freaking out that the subtitles and the logo were just papyrus for Avatar.
Oh, I remember this. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Hilarious.
Yeah, it was really good.
And then the person writing it went into this like deep look at papyrus, and then brought up something about that it's like not that bad of a font through all of these, like looking at it with like this designer eye, but he never once mentioned that the ascenders and descenders make it impossibly hard to work with, and then had the audacity to say that it is better than, or it's worse, yes, it's better than Comic Sans, which is completely inaccurate. And this is some knowledge for everyone. I hate that font too, but it has its place. And Rose, if she's still watching, has heard me say this a bunch of times because I don't shut up about it. But Comic Sans was made for dyslexia, and every single character is a different shape. So people who have dyslexia will still register the letters regardless. Like instead of in normal letters, you know, a D is, or in normal fonts, a D is just like a flipped B.
Right,
you know,
right, exactly.
Which gets really hard. And
I didn't know that about Comic Sans.
Yes, so
that's
it
fascinating.
It is great for children, and it is only for learning, so don't use it anywhere else. But, you know, like, I think they just added it to Instagram on your stories, and I'm like, why would you do this?
Well, no, and it's funny that you say it's great for children, you know, and now I think about when I still see it, and it's funny, I've actually, now I feel bad about this. I criticized, I really do. Now I'm going to feel crummy. At the beginning of quarantine, when my offspring were starting their online learning and stuff was just, you know, you can imagine for all teachers, it was just kind of chaotic. But I remember we got something that had Comic Sans text, and I just thought, wow, okay, you know. And I kind of went on this tear, not that my kids cared, but I was laughing to myself about it, you know, and I didn't know that was kind of its intent by design. I mean, that's fascinating. And that makes a lot of sense. And you do see, even in, I'm thinking of some of like the Adobe stock content and templates and things that we have that are, yeah, like you would use them in a school or for like school projects and things. They use Comic Sans. So
Yes, see, it has
that's
its place.
fascinating.
So
Yeah.
Tyrus, no.
You're right. No.
It is no. It just needs to. It needs to stay in Avatar where it belongs.
Yeah. Paloma's like, I feel bad now too. I know, right? I know. I didn't call anybody out on it. I was just, ranting to myself. But now I feel like a jerk. I'm like, oh, okay. Nope. It has purpose.
It has a place. Okay, so so now I have this one looks, it's about right. I'm going to highlight what I have behind it because it doesn't fit exactly, and that's okay. It's just going to be a little off. So I do want to take off the edges so that it kind of matches perfectly to the box that I'm already kind of with. And then before I want to get this all cut out before I show you all the fancy things. But it already is starting to look pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty fast. It's a fun time. So I'm pretty much repeating what I had just done to get the edge. The top on this one and on the other one, it's a little hard since the angle is so intense, but we will still add it. That is fine. I need to stop drinking this coffee that I have next to me. I'll be awake forever. It is 4:16 p.m. I'm making bad choices.
By the way, Jessica Douglas is saying, loving this font talk. As a teacher, I love Comic Sans for dyslexia, but it does not need to be on every sign or email kids ever see.
That's my sister.
Oh, there you go. Hi, Jessica.
Oh,
I love that.
Thank you.
Oh, that's funny.
So I officially know that everyone watching is either my friend or my family.
All right. Well, now we know where all those unique views came in yesterday.
My 29,000 family. Yes.
That's right. Yes, very large family.
It's we're Irish and Italian, so yes. Okay. So again, over here, I'm going to turn off the top one just so that I can see a little bit better and mess with just for now. Oh, look what I forgot to do is delete the bottom.
Oh,
Get out of here. We don't want that because it makes everything more complicated.
Right.
Did I remove from the top? No, I just completely forgot. You got me. You distracted me with my sister, and I completely forgot. Oh, does that mean that she was in the call when you were talking about the Zune? Oh no.
Could be.
Oh no, she knows. I stole her not her Birkenstocks, her Doc Martens as well.
Oh boy.
Being the younger sister that I am.
This, you don't have to be super truthful about your past here or anything. This is design.
Oh no, she knows.
I'm kidding.
Days.
I'm just teasing. You. Yeah, right.
They're officially 14 years old at this point. No, or 17.
We're gonna go and later today on Adobe Live, Erin confesses
for 6 hours.
For 6 hours, for stealing a Zune and then returning it for an iPod. Your thoughts?
Yes. Right. Do I have any Hail Marys or anything?
Yeah, right.
So I'm going to turn on the front one just because these will align, and so I just want to make sure that I have aligned them correctly and make sure that I don't have any pink showing. We don't want pink. You really, honestly, you want to get this in the first go because once you have it at an angle, it gets harder and harder to move it because it will, it makes a box around the awkward angles that you have.
Right.
And I have been going in with warp to adjust things that way.
Okay.
But again, it doesn't have to be perfect. I just want to make sure that it is at least covering the side.
Right.
Again, we get a little, is that aligned? Warp that down just a touch. Perfect. Okay. So then we have that side, and we'll throw that opacity back up. And then I'm going to, again, just delete anything that's on the outside.
By the way, both Rose and Jessica confirmed that actually she missed the Zune story, but now she knows. But she does know about the boots.
She does know about the boots.
Yeah.
I'm really glad that my entire family is just here present and accounted for. Thanks, guys. I think yesterday, my father and my grandmother, 91-year-old grandmother, watched the whole thing and learned a little bit too. So
Oh, nice.
you never are too old to learn something new. So don't
Absolutely.
forget that.
Absolutely. This pandemic has actually been for many, myself included, just right. Learning new stuff, new tasks, new anything, right? This is
Lots of puzzles.
lots of puzzles, lots of, you know what I played incessantly? I can't play it anymore now, completely burned out, but I played Monopoly,
Oh,
Life,
I love
and
Life.
Life is great. I forgot how it's fun.
It's a great game.
It's a great game. I forgot how much I enjoyed that. Monopoly, by the way, if you're not familiar with, there's all these new versions of Monopoly. Are you aware of this?
I've heard at least a bit of that. I'm curious where we're going with this stuff.
Well, so this is a total aside, but so I wanted old school Monopoly. I didn't have it. And this was April. So of course, go to eBay, well, go to Amazon. It was sold out everywhere, like many, right? So like these kinds of things were just sold out everywhere. So I went to eBay. People were asking, this is like the second week of it, in upwards of at the time, like $200 to $300 for and it didn't have to be an original, just like the original
Just
game of Monopoly. Right.
Yeah.
And the reason why I wanted the original is because actually someone had gifted me Monopoly a few holidays seasons ago. I had never opened it. I went to go open it in April. And first of all, the new version doesn't even have money. There's like a credit card scanner. Yeah. So you have a card.
Oh my God.
Let me just tell you, I didn't get any further than that. I was like, this sucks. The whole fun of it is like the money, and it was dumb. Yeah. And the board is different, but yeah, no money. You swipe. I'm like, no.
That feels
Barf.
like that let's go to the mall game that had like a phone and like a credit card.
Yes, I remember that. So I was so annoyed. Fortunately, I waited another couple of weeks and I think I found it for like $20 on eBay. I wound up buying it. But yeah, but there's all these new variations, and the new main Monopoly game. Yeah, it's I guess they still sell. Maybe you could probably still buy the original, but the new one is a credit card scanner.
What
I know everybody's like, what? I know.
You just ruined everyone's day.
You're kidding. I am not kidding. I am not kidding. I was again, I was willing to spend almost $200 to buy an old school one because I was so annoyed at how
with money.
Yeah. That's the best part. Watching everybody's stacks deplete over time, like, oh well, you're not gonna be able to pay those taxes, or whatever it is.
All right, you capitalist.
Yeah, right. Not buying any hotels for you, I see. It was traumatic.
Okay, so I have gone in here. This is the one that takes the most warping.
Right.
And I'm just gonna extend it off a little bit so that I can just cut off the color, because come on. So yeah, these are just shots that I took in my living room yesterday. You can kind of see my TV in them. It's fine. I don't have a studio. So those are all on. I'm just going to cut off any excess on that one. So right now we can see that we have a box and it looks very flat and you can't see any of the angles. But then all you have to do is just have these multiply and bam.
That's how you did it. That's how you did it.
So you always want to make sure if you're doing this that you're using white, because then it's just another element that you have to play through is to paint it white or make it look white, because otherwise it won't fit on there properly. And I mean,
Can you show the before the blend mode again, just so people can see that? Because that's freaking fascinating, dude.
So normal, and then
fake, not impressed. Wow, crappy looking box. Wow.
And then you're in there. And I mean, with this one, I might even go in and select the whole thing, and then just kind of, what is happening with it? Oh, I forgot that I had that one. Okay, sorry. It's like, what is going on? Yeah, I'm probably actually just going to select the side, because if I go in and if I get some dark.
Right. I was going to say,
I can just push it a little bit more, because even though this is how it was actually there, and multiplying that again, I can just, make that edge push a little bit farther.
Right. Yeah.
And what you don't see on the other one that was also something that was important to do was on the shaker that I had in front of it. I added color to it so that the white that was originally there that was reflecting on this reflective surface wasn't what you were seeing. And that's like one more way to like really incorporate it into the actual feel of the image.
Right.
And another thing to do is throw a color balance on top that balances all of it, so that you're doing a wash and then actually incorporating it into the scene.
Nice. Jessica, your sister and Rose are fighting. Jessica offered that, said I could steal her Monopoly, and Rose is saying no, it's hers, and she's going to take it at Thanksgiving. So, all right. No, it's
one
fine.
of us
I
has
have
to
one
go
now.
back to one of us has to go back to my mom's house, but none of us can get out of the state. So, thanks, guys.
All right. So
All right.
Jessica Tam is asking, what does a typical workday look like for you when you're in like design mode? What would you typically do?
I mean, it's really easy to get burned out as a designer, and that's something that is really, really needs to be more talked about than it ever has been, especially during COVID. Because I was working from home, I was working anywhere up to like 60 hours a week, because you're home and you're just here sitting doing work, and there's always work to be done. As designers, like we just we always have things to be doing. There's no time to stop. But I always really try hard to make sure that I have a good work-life balance. But I mean, I could spend anywhere from like this morning, for example, I spent like 3 hours working on that package just to make sure that it was actually like really feeling it out. When I worked at King Arthur, I was working on, I had lots of things I was working on. So I was doing the emails, all of the marketing emails. I was working on packaging. I was working on retail work. It really depends on where you're working and what you're doing. When I was at my last company, I was doing a lot of social images and really planning for that and doing strategy, which is a little bit outside of design, but also fun. I'm going to, you know what? I'm going to do the bottle first, since we have done this one. Like we've done a box. And I want to show how that one, because that one's slightly, I just opened that in the wrong program.
I was going to say, did you just drop that in Illustrator?
Yep, I did.
Yeah. And the challenge here, not only just, I guess, the surface and the shape, is that it's transparent, right? Or there's some transparency, so you have to.
So this is how I was saying before, that we wanted to, and I do want to insert this here. Get out. I'm going to paint on basically what a white version of this would look like, and the shadow on it, because we don't want to multiply onto this bottle, because we're not going to print in the translucent paper.
Right.
So if I just go in here, rasterize, get that out of here. And then I don't want that black line, so I'm going to go in a little deeper and take away the black line. Okay. So we have our label. It's pretty. It's bougie AF.
Yeah. By the way, I really do love that the addition of that white arch around the Titan logo. It really looks good.
I'm a little nervous about what I'm going to need to pay someone for that design element. So I'm keeping these together. I want this to come down, and so I'm really happy that we put that element, and just like put that shape into it.
Yep.
I do want it to come down just a touch and center it as much as I can in this image. So I'm going to take off that guy, and I'm going to do this on a couple layers. So it's very, very bright white, which is not what this would look like. So we're going to go in and just, this is where it gets a little bit more like painterly, and we're going to fake it till we make it again.
Yeah.
I am going to have this a little bit warmer though, because this image is warmer. So let's select you.
I see. We've got Claudie. Print my soul. What's up, Claudie? Nice to see you. How's it going?
All right.
All right.
So this, I can't really explain how that, like more of this than just I am painting in shadows, more or less.
Right.
And this just comes from looking at the bottle and knowing how it would look. This could have been made easier for this mock-up if I had physically printed and stuck a label on, and that we were working specific on that. But this is a little bit, maybe you don't have the product, and so you can't take a photo of it.
Right.
And so like maybe you're finding this picture online and throwing this on, which absolutely is one way to get things done. I usually like to have my product in hand, simply because I like to be able to physically see it. I design better when I can see it 3D, which is like what that person was saying earlier, that they couldn't see the box.
Right.
So this looks pretty good here. I'm going to see if I can just multiply. Haha!
Wow.
One thing that we can do, though, and I'm going to see if I can grab some stock, because we can, if this was getting printed, we probably would want it on, could you go off my screen for just 1 sec? So I can
yeah, sure. Yes.
All right. If we were, printing it, maybe it would be on like nice paper. And so I'm going to go in and grab like just a stock image of some paper while I grab my Adobe code, because everything that I have, including Adobe, is authenticated.
I was gonna say second level verification right there. Yeah.
I mean, I had it yesterday for Pinterest, so why wouldn't I have it for
That's right.
Adobe?
Of course. Right. Paloma is saying, I want to buy this set for myself and so many others.
Working on it. We'll get it out.
Better start taking orders. Rose, I think, is taking orders already.
Rose created 3 different cocktails. There's a punch called Knockout Punch that is fabulous. And then there was a take on an old fashioned where she actually steeped, you can go back to my screen now. She steeped whiskey with, it was butternut squash infused whiskey.
Oh.
Yes. So she's killer. She just knows what the heck she's doing. And am I back on my screen?
Oh, I did. What am I doing?
Hi, hello.
Hello, I'm here.
Okay.
Still
so, you know what? Let's see. How does this one look? Yeah, let's do this texture. Let's license this one. And it's downloading. There are ways, like it should just go into your library when you do this, for everyone who loves this.
By the way, I'm gonna leave you for 1 sec.
Yeah,
I'll be right back.
Here. I can't see what any of you are saying though, so I can't respond to you. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
You'll just have to deal with me chatting to myself. Rose can commentate, I'm sure. So I'm just gonna pull this in here, and again, do exactly what we have been doing, which is really just masking over. We go like this. We can just have this as a clipping mask down, and if you multiply it, then you can see that we've added a little bit of like a paper texture. And so this is starting to look pretty nice. The only thing about this that I'm not really feeling is how clean the edge is. In photography, it wouldn't be this clean if it was actually printed. So I'm going to go in and take the blur tool, which the blur tool it gets a little too crazy sometimes. I only ever use it when I'm trying to match things into an image. So I'm just going to take it on the edge of the actual label. I'm not doing this on the clipping mask above. And I just want this edge to be a little bit less clean. And you'll see this better when I actually go in and do the layer below it. So this one is just kind of on top. So we just want to go all the way around the edge, just like this. And then I'm going to actually copy this group because I don't want to lose it, but I don't really want to do this on 3 different layers. So I'm going to merge this group really quick. And then here, you'll start to see where it actually starts to have the effect of losing that hard line, because that is, nothing is so hard in life. Hello, you're back.
Yes, and this was the part I wanted to see. Oh, and you textured the paper. I missed that too.
Oh, I mean, I pulled in the textured paper.
Okay.
And I created a clipping mask.
Okay.
Oops, not dissolve. And then I just put multiply on it.
Right. Yeah, you're like multiply.
Multiply is my jam. I love it. And so right now I'm just going in on the edges because it's a little too harsh with coming in from Illustrator, because it's, computerized and it's pixels.
Right.
And in images, it's, pixels is not exactly how things work. So I'm just making this look a little less clean.
Yeah.
So that it feels a little bit more realistic on the bottle. And then the last thing that I'm going to do is see if we need to add just a little bit of, because this will be sitting on a bottle, we probably will have like a tiny shadow underneath it.
Yep.
And so I again have just selected the same guy. And I'm going to really just come on this side, because the lighting was coming from that top right side. And then just come out this way. I will go up into filter. I'm going to blur that with Gaussian blur. Gaussian. How do you say that? Gauss.
I've heard it many ways.
I do not know.
Gaussian. I don't really know what the correct term is. Blur.
Blur.
The only one you want to use. That and occasionally tilt shift. Right.
So we're again multiplying the shadow.
Right.
And it's just subtle. It's very, very subtle. I don't know if anyone could see that. Very, very subtle on the edge, just to push it off of that just a touch. So then, we have, I'm going to do exactly what we did before, which was come in over top and do just a little bit more shadow down here on the bottom. Layers are your friends when you're doing shadows, just lots and lots. So that like a tiny amount in there, just to kind of pull it down a little bit. And it's still feeling a little bit like it's not in the image, and I don't know if that's just because I'm staring at it. So I'm going to do a highlight on it now, because it would still be picking up highlight at the top. So this is where you just kind of have to play with it a little bit.
Yeah.
As you're doing it, and then
yeah, I see. Okay.
I'm gonna lighten that one. So that feels a little bit better. I also might just take down this opacity oh no, not that much, 2. So then we have that guy. Does it not look centered? Is it just me? So yeah, so now we have our mock-up, and this is like a pretty fast and easy way to do a mock-up. But you need to have it designed beforehand, because I know that we were talking about designing straight onto a package like this yesterday, and I would never suggest doing that. Always work flat to the 3D.
Right.
Right. And since we have the bottle, we do have do we have like 20 more minutes left?
We have about 18 minutes left. Yes.
18. I'm gonna put it onto this coaster box and we'll see how fast I can actually be here.
By the way, just to say, the bottle looks amazing. I mean, you're really, it's really impressive how you, not only making a DIY kit here, but how you kind of DIY'd this label application.
Like someone said, they said some program that I actually don't even know. What program did they mention earlier?
Adobe Aero. Yeah.
I haven't used that.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm actually staring at this slightly, and it feels a little bit like it needs to just like step over.
Keep tweaking. Right. Yes.
This is how I learned many, many years ago, and I'm going to try some new tricks. I'm going to try to learn Dimension. It's like, it's a process, but this is so easy for me. So why would I change it? And this just offers like another, if people are daunted by things like Dimension or Aero, this is another option. You're not completely out of the game simply because the program is too complicated, which they are.
Yep.
And also this is why, to someone's question yesterday, that I enjoy making my own packages, because then I can shoot them and not have to worry about, like, I can physically make it in the real world and not have to worry about that.
Yeah. By the way, I just let me see how this is going to look here. I wanted to pull up just your Instagram and your Pinterest. I just threw that up on screen.
Oh, hi everyone. Thank you.
I know you talked about Pinterest being a big inspiration. You use it frequently.
I do.
You're seeing it there on screen, at Erin Grace Jo on Instagram and at Erin Grace Johnson on Pinterest.
I've been kind of off Instagram for a little bit, so I'm trying to get more active on there. I honestly would love to help anyone if you have questions, so please feel free to DM me and reach out. the
And
knowledge
of,
that I have is only good if I can share it. So please, if you,
absolutely.
you know.
And of course here on Behance as well. And your
Oh yeah, you can definitely message me on Behance. Absolutely.
yeah.
I'm going to start. I haven't updated. I'm sure what people have seen there is that there's a lot of interesting projects that are solely from college, really. And so, and a couple years ago, there was some sort of a little like online challenge about like making celebrity business cards. And I made a few, so those are in there, but that like there hasn't been much added since college, but you know, I'm going to try to be more active in that community as well, and possibly hop into the Discord because that sounds like fun.
Oh yeah.
This is a little different here because we can see the inside flap, so I have to make sure that I have all of my flaps done. I'm going to put this below that flap though. In good time, I can usually get one of these done in like 25 minutes. So
oh wow.
We'll see how fast I can be here. All right.
So let me ask you a question, just thinking about how you shot this. Does having the fact that you shot this kind of shallow depth of field, does that make it easier or harder when you're doing like this kind of mock-up? As opposed to if you shot something at, yeah, I was going to say it has to make it harder because you've just got soft edges as opposed to shooting it, you know, f12 where everything is just in focus and super sharp, but then that's not as pleasing of an image and you have to fake the blur after the fact.
And that's I was saying while you're gone, like the blur tool is a great tool, but it you can get a little bit too attached to it. And if you use it too much, you can tell, like it's just
it starts looking unnatural. If you go too far, it doesn't take long before it just starts like, oh, you've added some fake blur in there. You know.
There's my cute little box.
That's great.
I'm going to make sure that this edge has enough. So I'm going to pull in the coaster packaging.
Random question: Are those like pomegranates? Are those lingonberries? Or what are those?
These here?
Yeah.
Those are cranberries.
Cranberries. That's what why did I say pomegranate? I meant cranberry.
Pomegranates are quite large.
They're large. I meant cranberry. I don't know what I don't know foods. Cranberries.
There were oranges, cranberries. There's an apple. You know, you're having a little festive time.
Pomegranate? What?
You know, I do have a pomegranate in the kitchen, but no, that's not what's in this shot.
That's one of those things. Like, what am I even saying? Is that a dragon fruit? What?
What did I call this?
I don't know.
Oh, I didn't even name that group. Okay, I'm just not going to name groups apparently. That's fine. Okay, so we're rasterizing.
Yeah. Oh yes, Reverb Mike agrees. Fake blur hurts my eyes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you see it so much now too. You know, not only in people's like, you know, retouched images of themselves and other things, but yeah, you see it a lot in packaging and other things. You're just like, oh boy, they took it too far, or they nudged, smudged one smudge too many, you know.
They are both things that are easy to get carried away with. Designer or not, even if you're kind of novice running in there. If you have a degree, you also could be very heavy-handed with the blur tool or anything. So we've got that thrown on there.
Mallory's asking, what was the reason for making the box pink? Is there a reason to have an underlay a different color, or is it just to make it easier to place?
Just easier to place. It happened to be on red when I opened up my color.
Right.
It's you can make it whatever color you want, and you also don't have to like differentiate the colors.
That's what I was saying. Colors. And you did that because again, it makes you also kind of see the light perspectives. It gives you an idea of what you need to do with your multiply blend mode and stuff like that.
It also just makes me, because I'm a little bit insane, you know.
Right.
Just a touch, but not anything that's a real reason. Just a personal reason.
Right. It's a fine choice, though. I like it, actually.
Thank you so very much. All right,
Yeah.
so we've got our holiday collection. All right, so let's see how fun this one looks when we get it at this angle.
All right.
Yeah. It's in Photoshop that it's a little hard to not be using a mouse.
Right. Yeah. I was gonna say props for doing this on a trackpad. I don't know. Anyone who missed that earlier, you're not using your mouse for this. So yeah.
Yeah, we were on a different. You guys are having a tour of all of my computers.
Yeah.
All right.
I gotta say too, the low, yeah, God, it looks so nice. Something's. I'm excited. Of course, we can't see it. I would love to see what the the what is bougie bar on the other side of the box, like how that extends, because that white line, it's doing it for me.
Well, maybe what I'll do is I'll take another photo of it and then add it to my Instagram, and people can see it there. Update the project there, and then and on my Behance also. Oh gosh, we missed it.
Yeah.
Just trying to make sure I don't lose any edges of the top. Oh, okay. All right. Forgot to rasterize.
Oh.
Everything's fine. Okay. Yeah, as unclear as I was about that logo there, I really enjoy it.
I really like it. Yeah.
I think it worked out. So this top has a little bit of an angle at it, so like the paper just wasn't strong enough.
Right.
So we're gonna have to warp here just a touch. It's gonna get a little fun. Okay. All right. Are there any other questions or anything coming in that we'll need that are looking to be answered? Have I completely bored people at this point?
No. Everybody, it's got a lot of people commenting on things we've been discussing. No, I think you're good. Yeah, so we're in our lap. We've got about 8 minutes left until
I turn back into a pumpkin.
And Erin turns into a pumpkin.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, what did I say is coming up next? XD Creative Challenge.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
Oh, what'd you? Okay. So I just want to make sure that I'm kind of covering this green, this spot of not green.
Right. Right.
That's also, that's a good reason to put a color behind it, is that I can like very blatantly see that I've missed a spot.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently I cannot see it well enough to put it up. Okay.
By the way, Carrie Latimer was saying she's giving you props for using a trackpad, but and saying how she would typically do it with a Wacom. Do you use any kind of tablet, or are you usually just mouse?
I use my iPad as a tablet. In addition to using the apps on it, I actually use something called AstroDog.
Oh yeah.
That actually physically makes my tablet or my iPad into like an actual tablet, which is a really great program, and I enjoy it. I especially in Illustrator, although I'm learning more about the Illustrator app on the iPad.
Right.
But that's like what I have used previously. I've got my little pencil.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't used a Wacom in a long time. College, maybe.
Oh,
well. Mostly because I think I had one, but it was never very good because I was always a poor college student.
Right. That's the thing. There's so many variations of it. I know I've heard similar things. I don't illustrate. So I attempted to use one once, and there's even people like, oh no, you can use it for editing. I'm sure you can. I can't, yeah.
For these two parts down here, the top flap and this bottom flap, I know what color it's going to be, so I'm just going to insert the color. I'm not going to worry about trying to like put the label into it.
Okay. Yeah.
And then the top, where are you? Because that's just a complication I'm not looking for right now. So I'm going to take away the back, and then just our quick little multiply. Bam.
Wow. Wow.
This one, the angle up here is a little funky, but I mean, it more or less really gives you the idea of what this would look like.
Yep. I'm just amazed at how realistically, though, just with Multiply, how it kind of depicted, again, kind of the shadowing from the top and the sides.
Yep.
It just, because that was the first thing I was just going to say. If you can you do the before and after as well there?
Oh yeah.
Because again, the top just blending completely into the, I mean,
yeah,
that's what I was gonna say. I was like, there's no fold line there. Are you going to draw it in? And then I didn't realize that was all just going to be achieved with the blend mode.
And then again, what I did before also, and I'll do again here, is just to push the side a little bit.
Right.
Get that black in here, and just, you know, it just helps a little bit for when you're faking it. It helps to fake it even a little bit more.
Right.
Just to push it to the edge. So like that really helped versus that.
Also, you kind of captured the essence of some of that, the light that's hitting it looks, is that the cork part of the wood part of that cutting board right there? Like it almost, it feels more homogeneous to that color somehow with the darkened black on there.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I really want to thank everyone for being here. This is 3 products that hopefully we will get out in the real world. We've got our cocktail mix in. We have the coasters, and we have the shaker, which we have 2 images of that one, but
it's great. It's so great. Really, really great.
So yeah, this was awesome. We went from package to mock-up. Look at that.
Look at you. Look at this.
4 hours. That was incredible.
That's right. Well, and again, too, I mean, one of the things I think I was telling you in advance, it's so cool that, you know, I love getting community suggestions like this because, again, like everyone's invested in just making this stuff.
I mean, this wouldn't be awesome. Where it is without a community suggestion.
That's right.
Thank you. Again, Mallory, I think was who said that.
Yep.
I'm like really favorite person right now. God.
I got to tell you too, the bottle label is, you want to zoom in on that? Give me some, let me get a little texture love on here. It looks shockingly good. It really does.
Oh, you know what we could also do, because we can. Let's throw that texture in here.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Why not?
Why not? Yeah.
I mean, this one is not how I would do this. I would do this separately for each piece.
For each piece, right.
But because of the, you know, just to quickly do it. So you throw it on like that, and then you throw that multiply on.
Oh, yeah.
And you might, so that now has, and again, I really would go in and do it individually, because then you'll have the folds. But you know, it's fine for now for a quick fix. But then we've got.
Yeah, that's actually, even this this zoom level right here, there's something very aesthetically pleasing about that. Yeah. I really love the way that looks, and the logo looks freaking awesome.
Woo!
God, I love that.
It was a group effort. It really was.
Olga, that's my new favorite.
I feel what I suggest to people out there who are designing is stop designing in your own world. It's bad. You can't design in an echo chamber. You need to have input. Like, even if it's not from designers, I ask my mom, I ask my sister who's here, I ask Rose. I'm like, what do you think of this? Is this something that's actually good? And even if they don't have any idea about design, they can tell you if it looks like crap or not.
Right. Well, and you kind of said that earlier, right? I mean, that's the thing, is people, especially now, I mean, I think people are just more aware and more in tune with good design. And if it's good, things happen. And when it's bad, I think most people universally are like, that's just
something's not right. Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but maybe I can't articulate it, but it's not doing it for me. God, that one looks really good too. It's funny. I thought the cocktail shaker one looks so great. The coasters box actually also looks really, especially now with that texture on there.
Yeah, I'm curious if we throw it on here really quick.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it really makes a huge difference.
Textures always help. You can go wrong, but you can never usually go wrong with a texture. More often than not, it will help you. And then,
by the way, worth pointing out, since you're doing that here, in this last update to Fresco. Well, I was gonna say Photoshop and Illustrator, but Fresco now has clipping masks as well for those.
Ooh, yeah. Paint and clip. That's fun.
Yeah.
Exciting.
So that was introduced at Max just a couple weeks ago. So definitely check out Fresco on the iPad if you're an illustrator, if you haven't already. These are really wonderful, Erin. Gosh, what a fantastic collection. And again, are you going to put some of the maybe some slight before and after some of this in progress in a Behance project so people
Absolutely. I will
check it out?
definitely get
Okay.
that in there. And links to these,
Awesome.
because these are going to be on YouTube. It turns out I'm on YouTube.
That's right. Yes. So good. All right. Well, we've got about 30 seconds. So again, from all of us at Adobe Live, thank you so much for gracing us with your presence and knowledge and
Twice.
style. I had to use it again. Not everybody was here yesterday.
That's true.
For your knowledge and for everything else. And really, you this was just a fantastic stream. You got a lot of cheers, a lot of love from all your friends and family in the chats here.
I love you.
Yes. And many people also saying to please come back again. And I definitely think we can make that happen. So
I would love to. What
yeah,
else can I design?
this was really awesome. Oh yeah, you're just getting a lot of love in the chat here. Thank you everyone for watching. Again, we've got the Adobe XD Creative Challenge with Andrea coming up. We've got Claudia and Jesus coming up as well as my friend Kyle, who's probably also working in Fresco, which I just mentioned. So you definitely want to check that out. And yeah, thank you so much for tuning into Adobe Live. Thank you, Erin.
It was
remember
nice to meet you all.
Remember to stay on. I'll see you momentarily. So yeah, thank you everyone. Again, let me throw up your Instagram and Pinterest one more time so everyone can reach you again. See where the inspiration comes from and where it's happening, and have a great rest of your morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world. And we will see you again on the next one. And just a quick reminder, I will be back on my masterclass tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. Pacific time. So hope to see some of you there then. All right.
Bye.
Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.